This is so weird. Guys, we're starting the first episode of my podcast. So, welcome to Love Daniella. So this episode is going to be all about how we started this podcast, why I chose the name, a little bit about me in case you've never seen my face before, or if you have, a little bit more about me, and kind of what we're going to talk about on this podcast. I am such a passionate podcast listener. Like, I love podcasts, specifically visually. Like, I love a visual podcast. I love a podcast on YouTube, but like from time to time, if I'm hawk or walking, I will listen to a podcast on like Spotify or Apple Music. So whatever you're listening, actually let me know, DM me and tell me if you're listening to this. If you're listening on a specific platform, please let me know. I'd love to hear what my girlies are doing. But this podcast I named Love Daniella because I thought it was cute, like how I sign off. I always say like Love Daniella, like when I sign a letter or like something along those lines. And I kind of had the idea of this feeling like diary entries. So it's kind of like I'm signing off. And I just thought it was really cute. I took the photo for the podcast cover when I was in LA. We took it in Malibu. I was kind of just like playing around, and then I was looking at them and I was like, these are podcast cover photos, you know? Like, it was just giving moody, and I want it to be like mental health based, like talking about what it's like being a girl in your 20s. I'm 26 years old. I live in Austin, Texas, and I'm a full-time content creator. So I feel like we can all relate. I feel like us girls at whatever age, honestly, but especially the girls in their 20s, like, we're just trying to figure out life. We're trying to roll with the punches, and I want to roll with the punches with you guys. And if you have like anything that you want me to touch on, literally leave a comment, DM me, anything you want me to talk about, I'll talk about, you know? I also have, my gosh, I also have this glass of Moscato because, am I nervous? Maybe a little bit. Like, we're just getting into the groove. But this is Moscato. I literally get it from Target, and I think it tastes so good. Kaylee actually put me on, but it is my favorite. So we're just going to sip on Moscato and have a little girly chat this afternoon. The sun is setting right now, and it's so pretty. But anyways, I love podcasts, and I feel like I'm very good at giving my friends advice. I give my friends free advice all the time. I have always been that for my friends, where like if you need to text a strongly worded letter to your boyfriend, to the guy you're dating, to your friend that you're fighting with, I've always been pretty good at articulating my words. And so I thought I can, give you guys that advice. Not all the advice I give is 100%, but I try my best. It always is with good intent. And yeah. What else? So I really want to dive more into mental health in this podcast in specific, because my content on social media is a lot about like vlogging. So it's just kind of like highlights of my day. So when I'm doing something fun, when I'm with someone, I vlog those things, beauty and fashion. That's like my kind of niche when it comes to social media. And I feel like sometimes I don't get to talk about feelings. And I think that's so important, to be vulnerable in our day and age. Like, we live in a crazy world, and it's so fast paced that I feel like sometimes it's easy to kind of push that to the side and really not talk about that. But I want to have a platform where it's like, we can talk about anything. We can, like, no bets are off, ask me any questions. I want it to be like a comfort space, because I have those comfort podcasts where I go to and I'm like, oh, like, I just want to like listen to her talk, and I want to be that for people. I also want to have guests on, like have people in my life that I like have had in my life for years, or friends that I've like met along the way. I love that, and kind of just like talk more about their mental health, their like interview style, but people that I genuinely know, like I want to have my mom on. I love my mom. Literally, I am so obsessed with my mom. So I want to have like people on from time to time, and I feel like that'll give you a little insight into my life and my dynamic with my friends and my family, because I think that's really special. And I love when people have like their childhood best friend on their podcast, because like you can just tell they've been friends since childhood, you know? So I definitely want to sprinkle that in here as well. And yeah, I have some fun guests in mind. But yeah, I moved to Austin, Texas about a year and some change. A year and some change. Hello? That didn't sound right coming out, but yes, around a year ago. And I lived at an apartment complex. I won't say the name yet because I haven't got my deposit back, and I need that before I'm like airing out this apartment complex, because this apartment complex fully traumatized me. When I tell you, I'm just going to give you, this is just scraping the surface. But while I was living there in a year, there was a murder. There was, I don't know why when I said that, I literally got shivers down my spine like someone was about to attack me. So that was really fun. Can you tell I have paranoia? There was a murder. There was someone that tried to jump off the building. A few days before I left, there was blood splattered everywhere down my hallway. And then I feel like there was a fourth. Oh, kind of a few months into me living there, a girl tried to kick down my door, and I think she was on like meth or something, because she wasn't in her right state of mind. And I saw a lot of videos from that night because she attacked a lot of people at this apartment complex. Anyways, I think the apartment complex was awful, but I think it was more so haunted. You've probably heard about this apartment, but I'm not going to say it until I get my deposit back. So for now, that's just what I'm going to give you. And then once I get my deposit back, I will do a full in-depth, like itty gritty. Is that the right word? You'll see in this podcast that I say sayings and I have no idea what I'm talking about. Like, it's never correct. I like listen to it back. I'm like, it's definitely not itty gritty. It's nitty gritty. There we go. I'll get into every crevice, because that apartment, I have so many stories, like starting from the very first day I moved in. So we'll save that. But I do live in Austin, Texas. This was the best move I've ever made. Before I lived here, I lived in LA for 2 years. And I know a lot of people have heard bad things about Los Angeles, specifically the influencer scene. Like, I won't say all of LA is bad, but I will say the influencer scene is very scary and it's hard to make friends. Where Austin influencer scene, every time I go to an influencer event, I make so many friends and everyone is so sweet and welcoming. They literally like welcome you with open arms, because I was kind of nervous to start going to influencer events here, because I'm traumatized from LA influencer events where everyone looks you up and down when you walk in, you know? So I was feeling like that's what I was going to experience here, and that is not what I experienced. I have met so many genuine influencers, genuine friends in general, and I absolutely love it here. I love the community aspect here. It's like small businesses are such a big thing here, and they pop up all the time, and everyone wants to support. Like, it is small business hub, and I love that. It's not just like chains everywhere. Something about that just feels like small town, but in a big town, because I live in Austin, you know, that is a big city, but it gives like small town vibes. So I kind of get the best of both worlds. There's also, I live in the city, but there's also a lake that like runs through the city. So it feels very like there's duality here, and I love that so much, because I love being in the city, but I also love nature, and I can never make my mind up, and I feel like I get the best of both worlds here, and I just love it. I love it because my family's close. My sister lives in San Antonio, my mom lives in Dallas, my best friend lives in Plano. I'm trying to get my other best friend that lives in New York right now to, actually, she just moved. I think she lives in North Carolina right now. I'm trying to get her to move to Austin. I just love it here. I love it here so much. I moved into this apartment complex that also one of my good friends here lives, and I could just feel like the vibes are up. Also, the vibes were up this last year, but like the way that I've been meeting people and putting myself out there this year has been immense, like very much so, because when I first moved here, I just was like hermiting for like a good chunk of time, and then I was like, okay, I got to start making friends, and I just love the people here. There's a few influencers here that I'm like, I don't vibe with too much, but I feel like everyone at least tries to put on a front of being nice, at least, you know, like that's not really a thing in LA. I can't remember if I mentioned what I was drinking because I did have to film this twice because it wasn't this little recorder thing died. But if I didn't, and I'm not repeating myself, this is Moscato and it's from Target. It's literally like $15 Moscato. It is so good. Some ASMR. This is my first time filming, obviously, a podcast by myself, doing long form by myself. And so I was a little nervy. So I said, let's just pour myself a glass of wine. And also, if you've been following me for a while, you know I did a year completely sober. Not this year, but the year before. Me and my boyfriend did like a full year sober, and it was really nice. But I'm also such an extremist in every form, which is like good in some senses where like if I put my mind to something, I will complete it. Like if I want to start something, if I want to start a business, if I want to do social media, like there's nothing stopping me. I will do it and I will be consistent. But it does bite me in the ass a little bit when I'm just like, one day I wake up and I'm like, you know what? I'm never drinking again. I didn't have a drinking problem. I was just like, let's try it. So we tried it for a year. And when I tell you, I acted like I had an addiction problem, which like I didn't drink like that since like probably high school, where I would get like really like drunk. I acted like that where like if a friend was, oh my God, there's a hair. If a friend was out and they offered me a sip, like, oh my gosh, you should try this. This is such a good pina colada. I would be like, I don't drink. Like I literally had a problem and I couldn't take a sip. I don't know, like I'm an extremist and I know that about myself. So I'm trying to find balance in a lot of things, in a lot of ways. I do the same thing when it comes to working out. If I'm not fully like eating 150 grams of protein a day, working out 6 days a week, doing like heavy weight, upping my weight, I've gone down those routes and it's not fun. And it's not realistic to stay on forever because then you're like, you dread it. So I'm trying to find balance in every part of life where things feel enjoyable and I don't overdo it. I drink probably once or twice a month, if that. And when I do, I'll have a glass of wine or I'll have 1 to 2 high noons going out with friends. Like I do not overdo it, and I really don't feel like I need to drink going out. And I think that's what I learned while being sober for a year, is I had to put myself in a lot of situations where I couldn't drink, where like I would naturally be like, we're going to a club, I do not want to be in this space sober. That sounds like my worst nightmare because I also have really bad social anxiety. And I kind of just had to push through if I wanted to leave the house. So I feel like that taught me a lot. And now I kind of pick and choose. If a night is really fun, I can add to the night and have like a little drink if I'm feeling it. But I don't feel like I need it to enjoy the night. And if I'm not enjoying the night sober, I leave. And that's also what I learned, because like you can make things more fun by getting drunk, but like if it's not fun sober, like is it really worth the hangover? I have not had a hangover since starting drinking, which is like what I mainly wanted. I was like, I don't want a hangover. I don't want to ever feel the effects of the alcohol the next day. I want to be able to enjoy a glass of wine, enjoy a few drinks at dinner, but I do not want to ever have a hangover. I don't want to throw up from alcohol. So I have completed that in the last, 7 months, because I started again January 1st. Me and my boyfriend popped a bottle of champagne, and that's how we celebrated our year sober. But yes, speaking of my boyfriend, me and my boyfriend have been dating for 3 years, pretty much 4, but I had trouble committing because I was just a girl that couldn't, I don't know. I was fresh out of a relationship. Something about getting into a new relationship was very scary, and I was like, I want to be single for a really long time. But of course, I met my boyfriend and we clicked so much. Like there was so much chemistry. It felt like we knew each other from the day we met, and I felt like we knew each other for years. And so it was really hard. Like I was like, what do I do? Like this is my perfect boyfriend. He's a golden retriever, like he gives that vibe, but I just couldn't do it. But he stuck along for the long haul, and now we've been dating for 3 years. He actually comes in town tomorrow. I pick him up from the airport tomorrow. We've been doing a long distance this whole time I've been in Austin. when I lived in LA, we obviously lived very close, so we hung out almost every single day. And so it was a big change to go from being together and up each other's asses 24/7 to literally seeing each other once a month. But we do make it a point to see each other, like 30 days is our max. Like it has to be like month to month. So usually he'll come here, I'll go there. Like we do like a swap off. And that helps a lot to like always be looking forward to something. Like we're always looking forward to our next trip. And it makes, when you hang out, the quality time is so like intentional because you're only with each other for like a week. So as much as I would love my boyfriend here, and his goal is to eventually get back to Texas because we're both like from Texas, his goal is to be here, but what he does for work, it just makes sense for him to be there. But yeah, long distance can be hard if you don't have communication with your partner, but I feel like we've been doing long distance for over a year now, and I feel like we have gotten the hang of it. And anytime I'm with my friends are like, I don't know how you do it. And I'm like, no, I'm literally so codependent, and if I have the option of my boyfriend can come to anywhere and everywhere with me, like that would be what I would enjoy. So it has pushed me to grow in the sense of I have to do things alone. I have to meet people alone. I have to go to the grocery store alone because I definitely fell into some codependency, issues when we lived in the same city. So now I feel like I broke those. So when he moves here, hopefully I can keep that up, because as much as I love him, I literally would not go anywhere without him. I was like, why go to the grocery store by myself when I could go with my boyfriend? So I definitely have grown in that sense. And I think that's something I appreciate now, is my alone time, my time that I go and do things by myself, because I am a very socially anxious person. So it's very easy for me to stay in my house for weeks on end and not see a soul. And I'm content with that. Like quarantine, you would think that that would have been the worst time of my life. Best time of my life. I was like, I don't have FOMO. I don't feel any pressure to hang out with anyone. I can just vibe. And so I vibed hard, and I enjoyed myself every single day. Like it's so bad, but that's just how I am. Like I just like I'm very okay with being alone and like figuring out something to do. That's actually when I started content creation, was during quarantine, because I was like, well, everyone else is being couch potatoes and feeling bad for themselves because they can't do anything. I'm going to make something of myself. And so I literally every single day got ready, did my full beat, did my hair, got dressed, and I would film like 10 to 12 TikToks a day, because I was like, I've always wanted to do content creation. Might as well do it now when I have the chance. What time is it? Oh my god, I'm psychic. But anyways, that's how I started content creation. I have been a YouTube girly since I was in middle school. I watched so many YouTubers, and I think that's how I've fallen so much into content creation and how much I love it, is because like I loved it to my core. Like I grew up watching like Jenna Marbles, all the YouTubers that are like OG YouTubers like Aspen Ovard and Juicy Star 07 and you know what I'm talking about. They never had like their names. They always had names like that. But like I grew up watching all of those people. And so when I started making content, I really fell in love with it, because when I was younger, like in middle school, I would always ask for like a new camera every Christmas or birthday. And I would film videos, and I wish I would have had like a hard drive or something, but I would just delete them after. But I would film videos, I would put them on my laptop, and then the editing is where it was really confusing to me, and uploading on YouTube was very confusing to me. So when TikTok came around, I was like, there's something at like your fingertips where you can film and just upload like short form content. And that's where I really fell in love with short form content, where I was like, wow, I actually feel like I'm good at this, like I love editing like a little video together. I love CapCut, one of my favorite apps. But yeah, that's really how I got into it. And then obviously I started watching podcasts, and I was like, okay, like learning long form content. And I just love everything about content creation. Social media can be scary 100%. Like, there's always negative where there is positive. Like, there's never just going to be one or the other. And as much as I have, like, I feel like a very positive community, your video can end up on the wrong side of TikTok, on the wrong side of like Instagram Reels. And you kind of have to have thick skin to do this, because if you don't, it will affect you 100%. It'll affect you, because if you are reading those comments like, oh, they're right, or oh, I like am viewing myself differently, then like it can be hard. But I will say that with time, I feel like I don't care as much. Obviously, there are some things that like, ooh, it gets under your skin and you're like, wow, why did that one hurt more than the rest? But I feel like I love content creation so much that that aspect of it doesn't bother me. Like, if that's what comes with the job, that's what comes with the job, you know? Also, I have the viewfinder out, and I usually don't film with the viewfinder, but this is my first time filming by myself. So I'm sorry if I'm not looking at you guys the entire time, because I just want to make sure I'm in frame, and then I get stuck there because then I'm just looking, and I don't even have good eyesight. I can only see like a blurred version of myself, but that's what I'm doing if you want to know why I'm like looking to the right or I look cross-eyed. Anyways, content creation is a big passion of mine. I love social media. I love like building people's social media. I love brands, like really looking into brands and seeing how they could grow on social media. Like, it's just been a big passion of mine. I've been doing more social media work with local Austin places, which has also been really fun for me, because it's a different type of work. Because I will say that sometimes when I have a lot of filming to do, I'm like, I do not want to hear my voice again. Like, I do not want to have to sit there and edit and hear my voice over and over and over. So it can get like very daunting when it comes to that. So sometimes working with local Austin places can be like a breath of fresh air, you know? So anyways, I've been working with like this Pilates studio. It's called AM Radio, since the beginning of this year, and I'm so obsessed with them. And it's just like fun to get out of the house, make content somewhere else other than my home, because that's mostly where I make my content. And it's just like exciting, because then I get to edit something that's not normally like just me speaking to a camera. So I have been loving dabbling in that. What else can we talk about? I feel like this episode is probably going to be shorter than my normal episodes, because hopefully I will have subjects and more of an organized plan. But I kind of just wanted this to feel organic and to kind of introduce myself and get a feel for this. We're just testing things out. And if you want anything to change, if you want anything to like look different, whatever, let me know. I am like always down for critiques, not down for rudeness, but I am down for critiques. Like, I love critiquing. So before we end this episode, I'm just going to spitball some fun facts about myself so you can learn a little bit more about me. So as you know, I'm a content creator. I said I was 26. I have a dog named Bentley. He's 7, I think now. Oh my God. He's like, I got him right when I was like, I think I was maybe 18 turning 19, or right when I turned 19. And it must have been right when I turned 19, because he's 7. So I love him. His name is Bentley. He's a Pomeranian Chihuahua. I'm sure you'll see him right now. He's laying on a blanket on my floor, because I have yet to get a couch for this apartment, but hopefully it's coming soon. I don't want this to just be my setup every time. Also, I kind of want it to feel very much like a diary entry, where sometimes I'm sitting in bed, sometimes I'm on the couch, like sometimes I'm on my balcony. Like, I really want to play around with the different sets and kind of be in different vibes. If you want me to cook while I podcast, I'm down for it, you know? I don't ever want it to feel mundane. And I just want to like spice things up. So once I get a couch, we will have an episode on the couch too. But anyways, Bentley is my love. Like, I am so obsessed with him. I would die for this dog. I love him to pieces. He's so cute. You'll probably see him. I feel like usually he's like pawing to get up, but I think he just like knows mama's working, you know? So he's just laying down. But yeah, I love him. I've never had any other animals as an adult. Growing up, I had a dog, so I've always been a dog lover. I honestly now love cats. I used to hate cats, but I now love them because my old roommate had 2 cats and I was obsessed with them. I've met a lot of cats that I like, so I got over my I hate cats thing. What else? My favorite genre of music is like R&B and like singer-songwriter. My favorite artist is probably Briston Maroney. I think I would say him, or no, Frank Ocean is number 1 and then Briston Maroney. I actually have tattoos of both. Like I have Frank Ocean on my hand, I have a Briston Maroney lyric on my back. I also have a lot of tattoos. They look very hidden. Like if I'm like this, I feel like it looks like I have no tattoos, but I have maybe like 20 tattoos, little baby ones, like all over my body. I want more soon. So leave some suggestions. I'm up for suggestions. I just like need an impulsive tattoo. I have not gotten a tattoo in maybe like 2 years. So it's time. What's another fun fact? I love plants. I can't keep them alive, but I love them. I looked up at my plant and it's dead. But like when I get overwhelmed, my plants, like it shows in my plants that like I am not taking care of myself. I'm probably not taking care of my plants, you know? I'm very close with my mom and my sister. They're literally my best friends. We FaceTime, like a group FaceTime, like almost every single night. And yeah, I'm obsessed with my mom and my sister. Like I love them so much. So anyways, that's a little bit about me. We can do like a little Q&A where I ask on my Instagram and you guys can ask me questions and I can answer them. We could do that next podcast if you want. If not, I'll come up with subjects. We'll have subjects for the next, I promise. Because usually I like outlining. I'm very OCD. I'm very like I plan everything. But I just wanted to be chill, which is very unnatural for me, as you can see. I hope you can't see. I really hope you can't see that, but it is a bit unnatural. So I think we're just going to end it here. I hope you guys enjoy this podcast. There's only so much more to come, and I'm so excited to bring you guys along on my life and my like everyday week. I want to sit down here and like update you guys on all the tea, all the good, bad, ugly, everything. And I love you guys so much. Everything will be linked down below, all my socials, and please DM me and tell me what you want to hear on this podcast. I love you guys.